And she will have a cup of chicken broth and a few crackers, please.
And for you?
Just a cup of coffee.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the best and most hard-hitting biographical movies, where the subjects of the real-life story were given cameos. We're not including appearances and archival footage or heavily fictionalized movies on our list.
So I want you right now to give a warm Auckland, New Zealand welcome for my good friend.
Number 10, The Basketball Diaries. Based on the memoirs of author Jim Carroll, who was a teenager when he began using substances, The Basketball Diaries is a story of substance use disorder, sex work, and wasted promise.
I've been doing this, reading these diaries and wondering how the hell I'm still alive, and even if I care.
In one key scene, Carroll himself shows up as another drug user who rambles on to his fictional self about his experiences. Carroll, of course, is being played by a young Leonardo DiCaprio, who is just on the verge of becoming a huge star.
And the first thing I see on the right, the side altar, are those little candles in the glass, in the red glass that we used to use when it was windy up in the park.
It's a bizarre clashing of reality and fiction. His ragged voice and intensely visual way of telling a story lends a whole new air of authenticity to what critics otherwise thought was a muddled melodrama.
Starts wafting out. I'm in the back. It finally hits me. Where do I know this smell from, man? Am I wrong, man?
Number 9, The Pursuit of Happiness.
What's that?
Just filling out a check, paying some bills, got a parking ticket.
We don't have a car anymore.
Yep, I know.
Will Smith plays Chris Gardner, a salesman struggling under the weight of bills, eviction notices, and barriers to entry into his chosen field. Eventually left with his young son to take care of, his situation becomes more and more desperate as the stakes of his finding permanent employment become higher and higher.
I'm the type of person, if you ask me a question and I don't know the answer, I'm gonna tell you that I don't know. But I bet you what? I know how to find the answer, and I will find the answer.
After his greatest triumph, the fictional Gardner and his son, played by real-life son Jaden, pass the real Chris Gardner at a crosswalk. Smith looks over his shoulder at the real Gardner, whose presence is unexplained. But once you know the real story, it's a haunting and meta reminder of how far a person can go in one lifetime.
You got a dream, you got to protect it. People can't do something themselves. They want to tell you you can't do it. You want something, go get it. Period.
Number 8, The Disaster Artist.
You think you have long hair, you own the world? That's the idea?
I stop you right there. What is this accent? It sounds familiar.
Anyone who loves bad movies knows about The Room, the 2003 melodrama written by, directed by, and starring Tommy Wiseau is a legendary flop. However, its making provides the backdrop for director James Franco's look at what happens when artistic ambition outweighs skill.
You need help, I see it.
It's not pity party, it's just party.
Eccentric to a fault, Wiseau may not have had the Hollywood career he dreamed of, but he gets a chance to showcase his skills in a small role opposite Franco's fictionalized version of him. The scene where they meet is as hilariously awkward and weirdly endearing as anything else in the movie.
What's your name? Tommy, right?
Yeah, my name's Tommy with capital Go Away.
It's okay. Have a nice one. Okay?
Number 7, The People vs. Larry Flint. Woody Harrelson plays the embattled publisher of Hustler magazine, which made him the subject of several charges of indecency and smut peddling.
I turned the whole world into a tabloid! Here I come!
Much of this biopic is made up of court scenes, which find Flint, his lawyer, and his wife facing down judges and juries over First Amendment rights. In a deliriously ironic turn, the real-life Larry Flint appears as one of the judges.
Objection!
Sustained.
Sustained?
Appearing as Judge William J. Morrissey Jr., Flint gets to watch over the reenactment of his own trial for obscenity. Harrelson was widely praised for his performance, and it couldn't have been all that easy to play someone right in front of them.
Do you have anything to say before I sentence you?
Your Honor, you've not made one intelligent decision during the course of this trial, and I don't expect one now. Knock yourself out.
Number 6. Apollo 13.
This is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we have a problem.
The narrow miss that was the Apollo 13 lunar mission gave Tom Hanks one of his most memorable roles as astronaut Jim Lovell. It was Lovell's book, Lost Moon, that inspired the 1995 movie based on that mission. The true story involves 3 space crew whose aircraft malfunctions during an attempted moon landing. They must race against time and dwindling power and oxygen to get back to Earth.
You've got to get the guidance program transferred, and you've got to do it before you're out of power in the command module, or you're not going to be able to navigate up there.
How much time? Can you give me a number?
Well, we're looking at less than 15 minutes of life support in the Odyssey.
Lovell's cameo occurs near the end after the astronauts are safely returned to Earth. In the scene, Hanks and his co-stars are received on the USS Iwo Jima, where the uniformed Jim Lovell salutes him and shakes his hand.
The 7 extraordinary days of Apollo 13 were my last in space. I watched other men walk on the moon and return safely.
Number 5. The Right Stuff. This 1983 biopic tells the story of the military pilots who became America's first astronauts.
We're placed here with certain talents and capabilities, and it's up to each one of us to use those talents and capabilities as best you can.
Sam Shepard plays Chuck Yeager, the Air Force officer who became the first pilot to break the sound barrier. Yeager himself has a very small but incredibly memorable appearance at the ranch and restaurant frequented by his screen counterpart and his fellow pilots.
Hey, y'all want to drink whiskey?
No, thanks, Fred. Just a little coffee. I'd like a Coca-Cola.
Coke?
Mm-hmm. In a clean glass.
His brief role as a whiskey-pushing bartender is hilarious given the context of the scene, with NASA higher-ups declaring that Yeager and his cohorts aren't polished enough for their program. Clearly, if the movie is any indication, history proved them wrong.
Sir, over there. Is that a man? Yeah, you're damn right it is.
Number 4. Milk.
I want to recruit you for the fight to preserve your democracy. Brothers and sisters, you must come out.
When Gus Van Sant made a biopic of gay activist and politician Harvey Milk's life in 2008, many of his associates were still alive. Van Sant included many of them in cameo roles, sometimes even playing themselves.
Don wanted me to congratulate you on what he said looks like a big win for us tonight.
Cleve Jones, a protege of Harvey Milk's, was played by Emile Hirsch in the film. On top of being credited as a historical consultant on the film, he appears as an actor in the role of Don Amador, another activist from the period. Since his days as an activist alongside Harvey Milk, Jones has carried on his legacy of disruption and community organizing.
Today, hundreds upon hundreds of openly gay, lesbian, bisexual, transgender people are winning public office and bringing real leadership, not just for gay people, but for entire communities. And I think that's an extraordinary thing.
Number 3. The Wolf of Wall Street.
Hey fellas, look what I found in my pocket. Look, a year's salary right here. What I call them? Fun coupons.
Martin Scorsese's epic chronicles the highs and lows of the real-life stockbroker who was imprisoned for securities fraud and money laundering. Given the subject's boundless charisma and skills in front of a crowd, it's only fitting that the Wolf of Wall Street should include the real Jordan Belfort. He has a cameo as the speaker who introduces his on-screen counterpart at the end of the movie.
This guy, my good friend Mr. Jordan Belfort, is the single baddest I have ever met.
Just from this taste of his way with a crowd, it's clear how he became the success he was, and it's also clear why he went into motivational speaking afterward. DiCaprio has plenty of bravado and stage presence himself, but it's amazing to see the real man in action.
The show goes on! This is my home!
Number 2. Erin Brockovich.
I'm smart, I'm hardworking, and I'll do anything, and I'm not leaving here without a job.
The life story of this environmental activist became a star vehicle for Julia Roberts, but clearly it was close enough to the truth for her to make an appearance. Roberts won an Oscar for her role as a sassy and relentless paralegal with no formal law training who holds a multi-million-dollar conglomerate to the fire. Erin Brockovich herself has a short but sweet cameo, with the actors playing her and her 3 children.
Mommy, can I have a cheeseburger deluxe with no cheese and no bread?
Did you get that? Yeah.
She appears as a waitress in the diner, while her real-life former boss, Ed Masry, played in the movie by Albert Finney, appears in a booth behind the Brockovich family.
My lawyer took me out to a fancy lunch to celebrate, and I'm still stuffed. How about that?
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. Schindler's List.
It's Hebrew from the Talmud. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
Steven Spielberg's intense and profoundly disturbing chronicle of life before and during the Holocaust was a landmark moment in cinema. Liam Neeson stars as Oskar Schindler, an industrialist who was able to save over 1,000 Jewish people from concentration camps by employing them in his factory.
Thank yourselves. Thank your fellow Stern and others among you who worried about you have faced death at every moment.
Many of the people he saved appear in a procession at the end of the film, visiting Schindler's grave alongside the actors who portrayed them in the film. It drives home the point that the Holocaust is not some vague historical moment so far away that its wounds are gone. It's a living, breathing legacy.
There will be generations because of what you did.
I didn't do enough.
You did so much.
Which of these appearances made the biggest impact? Let us know in the comments.
Why are you saying against the wall?
Look, I'm just a guy leaning on a wall. No big deal.
Why are you so lonely? Tell me.
What? I'm just standing here alone. Don't mean I'm lonely.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo and be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.